Hello, BookTube. I've got some mail for you on a humid, overcast Thursday that is now hour 40 of earth-shattering street construction. So this is bound to be a video. I don't know why I'm making it. Actually, it's bound to be a video that's completely swamped by the sound of dynamite, of explosives, of the entire street being blown and ripped apart by heavy-duty machinery with no warning whatsoever from the city, no ability to plan, no forewarning that you're going to have no evening. That you're going to have no evening. So what is that you say? You are having friends over for a birthday party? No, you're not. You're not going to be able to hear each other. You could shout in the same room. You wouldn't be able to hear each other. What's that you say? You've had a long, long day at work, maybe as in an emergency room, doing triage all day, and all you want to do is sit down with an everything bagel and maybe some hot tea and watch a Netflix movie until you fall asleep in order to get ready for tomorrow's shift in the ER. What's that you say? That's what you want to do? Well, you're not going to do it. Not only are you not going to be able to hear anything, even if you put headphones on, but you're not going to be able to sleep because the city has contracted 24-hour work crews. The work crews with jackhammers and dynamite and explosives were working at 3 in the morning last night. They were working at 4 in the morning. They were working at 2 in the morning. I saw the shift change when the new shift came. How they had the morals, how they had the conscience to do it. How that second shift came in at 1:30 and said, "Yeah, we'll take over now," creating noise that you can hear on the New Hampshire border, on this street to these people. How that shift could do it instead of saying to their bosses, "No, I'm not going to do this. We can conduct earth-shattering street construction during the day, but we're not going to do it at night. I'm certainly not going to do it at night." How they could do that, I don't know, but it's bound to be audible. I've fiddled with the settings on this camera to try to blank background noise, but who knows if I'll be successful. But we've got mail to go through, which I can at least show you. You'll at least be able to see it, including periodicals. We have The Nation, which is a spring books issue, as you can see. So there'll be a lot of book coverage in there. We have the National Review, with a cover article by Anthony Roberts, the Andrew Roberts, the great World War II historian here, writing about D-Day at 80. D-Day was 80 years ago. We have the New Yorker. With I glanced at it and I gather that there are letter page responses to an article about animal welfare. Not looking forward to reading those. I'm sure that I will be disappointed. And we also have the TLS, the London Times Literary Supplement. Which, again, I haven't looked at any of these, so I don't know, for instance, if they're reviewing any books that I've reviewed, or books that I've read, or whatnot. It's always a thrill to see whether or not another critic is liking something that you hated, or hating something that you liked and finding good reasons why. It's a butterfly in the feeling stomach, but it's still a great feeling. Now we're done with the periodicals, let's do the mail. You'll notice, you connoisseurs of Steve's mail hauls, you'll notice that I am hurrying just a bit, and I usually don't in my videos. My videos are usually 3 or 4 hours long each, but I'm hurrying because there is a minor lull going on here, and I don't know how long it's going to last before literally the building is shaking. All night long, this building shook, and it did not shake from the vibrations of the dynamite or the jackhammers or the giant earth movers that are now sitting all up and down the street like prehistoric animals. Instead, it shook from the noise. The noise alone, the sonics were shaking the building. That's how bad it was. At 2 in the morning, at 3 in the morning, at 4 in the morning, at 5 in the morning, without a let-up, without ever stopping. So I am hurrying just a bit. Let's see here. Okay, this first one is November. Yeah, I thought this was a long time from now. This is a long time from now. This is Neil Williams. This is Time of the Child, the new novel. Let's see here. Dr. Jack Troy was born and raised in Faha, but his responsibilities for the sick and his care for the dying mean he has always been set apart from the town. His eldest daughter, Ronnie, has grown up in her father's shadow and remains there, having missed one chance at love and passed up another offer of marriage from an unsuitable man. But in the Advent season of 1962, as the town readies itself for Christmas, Ronnie and Dr. Troy's lives are turned upside down when a baby is left in their care. As the winter passes, father and daughter's lives, the understanding of their family, and the role in their community are changed forever. and it's set in the course of one December in the same village as This Is Happiness. This Is Happiness was set in the same village. Okay, I'm not getting a clear sense of whether or not I need to know This Is Happiness. I think I read it. I'm pretty sure that I did. But if it's set in the same town, is it going to have the same cast members? Or is there characters? Is this a sequel? Is this a sequel in some high-toned literary fiction way? I need to find that out and maybe get a copy of This Is Happiness. But I know this author has lots of fans. He has a new novel coming out in November. So a long way off. I am slowly pecking away at my new release bookcase. I need to stop slowly pecking away at it and just do it. Just buckle down and do it. I hesitate to do that because I like to do it with people, but I haven't had a chance to do it with someone in a long time, so I will do that. And then November, of course, is out there at the end. It's sort of the latest stuff that I have. So, oh, great, okay. Boy, the folks at Basic Books, I tell you, good Lord. Good Lord, the run they're having. All right, so this is October. So this is also something I don't need to worry about. This is Jeffrey Waro, and this is his big military history of the Vietnam War. Big, huge thing. How many pages is this? 650 pages. Fantastic. Okay. Well, I don't have a pub sheet for this, so we'll just do we'll just read the back. The first comprehensive military history of the war in Vietnam. No. No. We didn't start off well. No. What are you thinking? No. But let's just move on from there. The Vietnam War cast a shadow over the American psyche from the moment it began. In its time, it sparked budget deficits, campus protests, and an erosion of U.S. influence around the world. Long after the last helicopter evacuated Saigon, Americans have continued to battle over whether it was ever a winnable war. It was. It was. One side had 10 times the personnel and military equipment of the other. That is, by definition, a winnable war. Based on thousands of pages of military, diplomatic, and intelligence documents, this book offers a definitive account of a war of choice that was doomed from its inception. In devastating detail, the author narrates campaigns where U.S. troops struggled even to find the enemy in the South Vietnamese wilderness, let alone kill sufficient numbers to turn the tide in their favor. Yet the war dragged on, prolonged by presidents and military leaders who feared the political consequences of accepting defeat. Oh, I'm going to argue with this book, and believe it or not, and I know I'm talking to the right people. You're going to know exactly what I mean when I say, that's wonderful. This is an author I really like. This is a subject I know, but don't know probably as well as he does. I'm going to be arguing with this author, and that is a wonderful, wonderful feeling. In the end, no number of young lives lost or bombs dropped could prevent America's ally, the corrupt South Vietnamese regime, from collapsing the moment U.S. troops retreated. No, young lives lost or bomb drops couldn't have prevented that. You're right. And postage stamps at home or the Mickey Mouse Club couldn't have prevented it either. Was there anything at hand that could have prevented it? So the book cover describes this as broad, definitive, and illuminating. Oh my God, this is going to get reviewed everywhere. Oh my God, everywhere. And I'm going to review it, definitely. So who is Jeffrey Waro when he's at home? He's the University Distinguished Research Professor and Director of Military History Center at the University of North Texas. And he's the author of Quicksand, America's Pursuit of Power in the Middle East, Sons of Freedom, the Forgotten American Soldiers Who Defeated Germany in World War I. He lives in Dallas, but I know him from other books. Don't I? I thought I did. The Franco-Prussian War. And A Mad Catastrophe, the outbreak of World War I and the collapse of the Habsburg Empire. That's the one I remembered. Okay. All right, great. Fantastic. I am totally on board for it. Boy, oh boy. What a winning streak for Basic Books. They all the nonfiction they're coming out with is so good, or looks so good. It's so interesting. All right, let's try this next one here. Go for the scissors here. Always have scissors nearby. When you open packages all day long, you got to have scissors nearby. Let's see what this first one is. Just make a mess on the floor for now. Let's see here. This is from the folks at Europa Editions. This comes out in June. June 4th is another one of those big launch days. This is To Die in June, a Harry McCoy thriller by Alan Parks. Lovely. Okay, that's his biography. Good Lord, his biography is as long as the book summary. This is the newest addition to the gripping, gritty, Glasgow-based Harry McCoy series. A woman enters a Glasgow police station to report her son missing, but no record can be found of the boy. When Detective Harry McCoy, who is on temporary transfer from a station across town, discovers the family is part of the cultish Church of Christ's Suffering, he suspects there is more to the boy's disappearance than meets the eye. Meanwhile, reports arrive of a string of poisonings of down-and-outs across the city. The dead are men who few barely notice. Who few notice is what you mean. If few barely notice them, that means most people notice them. Let alone care about. But as McCoy is painfully aware, among this desperate community is his own father. Even as he searches for the missing boy, he must conceal from his colleagues the real reason for his presence, to investigate corruption in the station. Some people pray for justice, but Detective Harry McCoy hasn't got time to wait for God's divine intervention. Okay, natural question that I have here is, do any of you know the Harry McCoy books? I don't even know how many there were. I don't think I've read any. I don't think I have. Police procedural thrillers usually have such boring titles that I might not remember. Yeah, Bloody January, February's Sun. Bobby March Will Live Forever. All right, that's a real title. But I don't remember it. I don't recognize it. And then The April Dead and May God Forgive You, stuff like that. But I'm not going to remember those anyway. Okay, fantastic. Well, this comes out soon. I can put this on the pile for tonight. June the 4th is Tuesday. So this comes out right away. I think I did read Bobby March Will Live Forever. I think I reviewed it. Well, anyway, the main question I have, I'm sure that I'm always up for a police procedural, especially since there's a double-edged plot going on here. There's a missing boy, there's a string of poisonings, and there's the ongoing tension of the fact that the main character is investigating the police house where he is currently billeted. That would be great on its own. Plenty of less confident authors would make that the only plot. The one question that I have about this doesn't have anything to do with this book. It's a question that I've been encountering lately, which is, how do you research something like this? How do you research a book in which a character is clandestinely poisoning homeless people? The author would have to research what kinds of poisons there are, how they can be acquired in bulk, how they can be delivered surreptitiously, what their symptoms are. How do you research something like that without getting on police watch lists yourself? I mean, someone who is planning a crime like that would have to research it. Their research would look indistinguishable from the writer's research. So how do writers get an exemption? I have in mind a police procedural story that I would like to write, but I don't know how to go about researching it. Without getting myself on every local, state, and FBI watch list in existence. It's a fascinating problem. I think the alternative that I have, the thing that I could do, is simply to wing it. Simply to guess. I don't want to do that, but I guess that's better than ending up on a watch list, especially since nobody's going to read the thing anyway. All right, let's move on to the next one here, which also needs to be cut open. No idea why. But then once we're done, this is the only other one that needs to be cut open. The others I know can be forced. So you take the scissors and you put them right back out of reach where they were. You don't put them aside or next to you, because that's a sure way to gouge yourself or gouge someone else. So put them away. All right, so let's move on to this next one here and see what we have. This is a finished copy of something. Oh, this is also from Europa Editions. Finished copy. Okay, this comes out on June 11th, so this is real soon. I don't think I got an advance copy of this. Did I? Did we see an advanced copy of this? Well, anyway, this is by Franco Bernini, translated from the Italian by Una Stransky. It is The Throne, book 1 of the Machiavelli trilogy. So this is a historical novel about Niccolo Machiavelli, the first in a planned trilogy. And it starts in October of 1502. As Cesare Borgia sets out to invade the Florentine Republic, Niccolo Machiavelli is sent to spy on him and to glean details of his nefarious plan. But when Borgia asks Machiavelli to write his life story, their bonds gain complexity and nuance. Ultimately, they both aspire to everlasting fame, and to achieve it, they need each other. For the one sword can only rule in eternity via the pen of the other. Set against the backdrop of the Renaissance, rife with political intrigue and cultural flourishing, Bernini's richly imagined novel masterfully captures a society teetering on the brink of change and revolution, as one man takes his chance at greatness, navigating the treacherous corridors of power with guile and charisma. Okay. So you didn't call this the Borgia trilogy, you called it the Machiavelli trilogy instead. This book is a captivating reflection on ambition, morality, and the pursuit of power and influence, as elucidating as Robert Caro's The Power Broker. Tip of the hat to how persistently read that book is. It's like 50 years old. It's on everybody's bookshelf. Everybody reads it. They think about it, even now in 2024. Think about that. This pub sheet doesn't hesitate to mention Robert Caro's The Power Broker, when it would not mention nor even know about 4 biographies to the left or to the right of that published in the same year that it was. It has currency. It's weird. As gripping and stylish as Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall... Okay, slow down there, Seymour. We'll see, but it's unlikely. And as atmospheric as Maggie O'Farrell's The Marriage Portrait, this book reveals one of the most impactful and controversial minds in political history. Okay, I'm sure you mean Machiavelli by that. And this is the author's English language debut. Boy, I think you're leaving a book out, though. I think you are. You mentioned The Power Broker, Wolf Hall, and The Marriage Portrait. I think you're leaving something out, and that is M, Son of the Century. If that was not the motivating factor for this book, I'll eat a pound of cannoli. I'd eat a pound of cannoli anyway. We're seeing something like this. Something like this trend is happening now more often. It's become a tiny little fad of its own. Take some figure from history who is, to put it mildly, either vilified or morally questionable. And Machiavelli, like Cromwell or Mussolini, or I firmly predict in our lifetime Hitler, and write a historical novel that brings them to life but isn't necessarily trying to rehabilitate their reputation. That kind of thing, there's a market out there for that kind of thing. We'll have to see here, unlike the case with Cromwell or with Mussolini, for instance, all of the vilification that Machiavelli has received has been inaccurate. It's just been wrong. It's wrong to vilify him. History just does it anyway. So we shall see. This is right around the corner. I could easily do this one as well tonight. But that's fantastic. That's very intriguing. Doesn't seem like normal historical fiction. Let's see what this next one is. Oh goodness. Okay. All right. Oh wow. Oh, this is wonderful. All right. This is by Hans Hones. This is Tangled Paths: The Life of Abby Warburg. Doesn't he look like a barrel of monkeys? That's what you get when you have no dental care. This tells the story of Abby Warburg, one of the most influential historians of art and culture of the 20th century. It also tells the story of a man who, throughout his life, struggled to assert his place in the world. Charting Warburg's many projects and identities, groundbreaking historian, public intellectual, ethnographer, shrewd academic administrator, founder of a library, the author explores not only the vagaries of an academic career, but the personal demons of a man who relentlessly sought to live up to his own expectations. This biography, the first in English in over 50 years, presents an evocative and richly detailed portrait of Warburg's personality and career, and his attempt to make sense of the tangled paths of his life. And the author is a senior lecturer at art history at the University of Aberdeen. Okay. fantastic. And this also, I don't know if you're going to be able to make it out, but this is actually full of illustrations. It's not just an inset of pages in the middle. There are illustrations all throughout the book. It's always a lot more fun. It's more expensive to do, but it's a lot more fun. And then finally, we have a tiny little box. we do have a box. It's a wee little. It would be bitterly ironic if we got a slim volume of poetry in a box. It's a box that doesn't want to open. That's for sure. Wow, I'm literally having to tear it to pieces to get it open for something small enough to have gone in an envelope. Oh, this is just unbelievable. I'm literally having to dismantle the box to get at it, to get at what's inside it. This is just amazing. Well, I guess we can just chat in the meantime, right? How about them socks? I've never had this happen before. The box is still not open. I still can't get the box open. Okay, and I had to destroy the book to get to it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. No, as I thought, it's a tiny little book. Nothing of this needed to happen. Can you believe this? I had to tear the thing apart to get out the book. Okay. All right, it's got an invoice that we don't need. Let's see the book. Oh, well, okay. I ordinarily say that the more trouble a book is to open, the less good it is as a book. And I've never had a book that took that much trouble to open, except for one. About 15 years ago, somebody at some small press sent me a book that, honestly, they had just kept wrapping it and wrapping it and wrapping it and wrapping it and wrapping it in wrapping tape. And at the time, I was picking up books from a post office box across town. I wasn't having them sent here. And I had a big pile of books, and I saw that in the pile, clearly labeled 2 open letters, clearly labeled where it came from, and I just threw it in the garbage. I didn't even bother with it. I didn't think, well, obviously, overpacking is done out of naivete or, an overestimation of the dangers of mailing the U.S. mail. But this much overpacking is done as contempt. This is contempt. So your book is, I'm going to sort of throw it in the garbage unopened. I mean, I don't even care about it anymore. I'm certainly not going to waste an hour of my life trying to get in this package. But aside from that, I don't even know what the book was in there, so I have no idea. But aside from that, this was the hardest open that I've ever had. And the book looks wonderful. So I guess that proves the rule. This comes out in November, so we have another late publication. This is by David Hone, who's terrific. And this is Uncovering Dinosaur Behavior, What They Did and How We Know. Oh, I wish this were longer. This is just 200 pages long. This author is absolutely amazing when it comes to the very solid jumps of intuition and inference that he makes when he looks at dinosaur remains, at any kind of footprint tracks or bones or anything. His intuition for imagining the past is amazing. Just amazing. I know him mostly from writings on Tyrannosaurus Rex. This, I guess, is going to go the full spectrum. Look at that. We were once a lizard planet, once upon a time, teeming with life, and some of it quite huge. So I don't have a sheet for this. We'll just read the cover copy. Our understanding of dinosaur behavior has long been hampered by the inevitable lack of evidence from animals that went extinct some 65 million years ago, and whose daily behaviors are rarely reflected in the fossil record. Today, with the discovery of new specimens and the development of new cutting-edge techniques, paleontologists are making major discoveries and reconstructing how dinosaurs lived and acted. This book provides an unparalleled look at this emerging field of science, presenting the latest findings on dinosaur behavior and explaining how researchers interpret often minimal and even conflicting information available to them. The author begins by introducing readers to the fundamentals of dinosaur biology, diversity, and evolution, goes on to describe behaviors across a whole range of species and groups, from feeding and communication to reproduction, sociality, and combat. Speculation about dinosaur behavior goes back to the earliest scientific studies of these terrible lizards. The author traces how frontier science is opening a window into prehistoric life like never before, and discusses future directions of research in this thrilling and rapidly growing area of paleontology. I love a dinosaur book anyway. This sounds like a lot of fun. It's going to be hard to wait on this. The author is reader in zoology at Queen Mary University in London, and the author of How Fast Did T-Rex Run? and the Tyrannosaur Chronicles. He has written about dinosaurs for leading publications such as National Geographic, The Guardian, and the book is illustrated by Gabriel Ugueto. I wonder if I'm getting Gabriel's illustrations this early on. Yeah, see, I see photographs. Photographs are in here. Lots of photographs are in here, I should say. Lots and lots of photographs are in here of contemporary animals and also reconstructions of what these Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's a piece of artwork. You get diagrams and whatnot, but you also get original artwork throughout here. Seeing a whole lot of original artwork, but no. Let's get another example. Yeah, there's climbing dinosaurs. Okay, great. Well, I have to wait. I have to wait. There's no way I can justify this, even though it's going to take an hour to read. I still can't justify it. But anyway, there's the mail. Not a bad mail haul. So we have Uncovering Dinosaur Behavior. We have a biography of Abby Warburg. We have The Throne, a new novel about Machiavelli and Cesare Borgia. We have To Die in June, a police procedural that somehow managed not to get its author arrested. We have The Vietnam War, a military history by an author I really like. And we have Time of the Child, which may or may not be a sequel to This Is Happiness. We'll have to see. So there you go. There is mail. This is a lot less than what I was expecting today, but it is persistently raining, and that I don't doubt that there's nobody outside, including the mailman. So if more mail comes, I will patiently leave it unopened so that we can see it together. So I'll wrap this up for now, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.